Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one ring, let we rule them all. Hope would remember your call. Get your Uru feathers and your Middle guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword +1. Use Valerian steel if it will get you to come. To the Geek Tank. To the Geek Tank. The Rocky Mountain Geek Tank.
Hi, I'm Guy.
Hi, I'm Troy.
And this is Geek Tank.
We're on the wrong side of the screen size podcast.
We really are, aren't we? Here, let's fix that.
We can fix that. Look at that.
Oh, fix that.
We just fixed that. We edited that in post.
Yeah, we will totally edit that in post.
Yes.
It's totally a thing. It's a thing.
That's what's going to happen.
So, hey, Troy, what are we talking about today?
No idea. So
Neither do I.
I just looked up geek debates, and there's a few different of those out there that we could look at and make fun of.
Geek debates?
Yeah, I mean, this is called the 5 classic geek debates settled a long time ago.
Oh.
And so we could fly through those pretty fast. And then meanwhile, if we get anyone in the motor pool, we can do what is it called? AMA?
Yeah.
Animated Monster Association.
Articulation. Yeah.
Well, cool. So I didn't scan past the first one. When I scanned the first one, I agreed with the answer. And I didn't realize this was a debate that was still going on because it's Star Destroyer versus the Enterprise. So, but I could see how you get the home team fans always backing the home team.
Oh, we can buy followers. Thank you, Banjo. Primes and viewers on bigfollows.com.
Wow. But can we buy them with our non-existent money?
It's like buying friends. It's a thing.
That's illegal in most areas.
It depends on the friends.
The ones with benefits?
Some of those, yeah, that's definitely illegal.
That's illegal, yeah.
That starts moving into the illegal category pretty quickly. Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's excellent that Banjo hopped in here, though, because he gave us something that we can totally rabbit hole into.
Yes.
So thank you.
Buying friends.
Yeah. And it makes me wonder if there's, what would that be? 122,373 other banjos? Because that's a lot of banjos.
That's a lot of banjos. And if are they all playing like dueling banjos?
Or was he born in December the 23rd, 1974?
Maybe.
Which would be a bad idea to put your birth date in your name.
Or it could be 12,000,000 or 23, or I guess it's 1.2 million banjos walk into a bar. Bartender says, "We don't serve banjos here." The banjo says,
well, we just came in to get strung out.
Yeah. Just waiting for that one. I was like, this has got to be
They said we will pick another place.
There you go.
All right. So, yeah, I think
shaming trolls and shaming bots is like a pastime.
Yeah. This is our first bot I think we've ever gotten pop up here.
Oh, I get them all the time on my show, so I can't remember whether we... And it's the same thing. It's we want to buy followers? You could buy followers. Well, okay, so wait. What's the point?
Yeah.
It's buying followers.
And it's not really famous. I mean, I could see that if you're like YouTube has these new rules that you have to reach a certain amount of followers and subscriptions before you're allowed to even see any money come in. And if you were like really close to reaching that and you've already tapped out all your friends and your friends' friends and your family and your family's friends and blah, 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 then you might say, okay, it's worth some money to get just over the top to get there. But we're so far away from that.
Yeah, we don't care.
We don't care. That's
makes it even funnier.
We're more worried about just paying for our StreamYard service right now.
Right? We're just worried about paying StreamYard at this moment. So that's where we are. That's where we are.
Hey, and while we're talking about it right at the top of the hour, let's go ahead and plug our sponsors since they help pay for our StreamYard.
Yep, you got it. So let's get our banners up and running since we're already here.
Yes.
Then we're going to tell you that Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, Shiny Garden, and
Your Mom. And I believe we have Whimsicon coming up here.
Yeah, Whimsicon's coming up here pretty soon.
I just fire this off because I remembered it's September. Yeah, September 24th and 26th. And that's going to be at Delta by Marriott. They're going to have oh, you know what? I could just probably just share this picture and then that would solve all that, wouldn't it? If I can do full screen.
We also should like bring up Kieran Games because we don't talk about them enough and they keep hanging in there and I'm really glad because the con's starting to kind of get back up into speed or con season.
Which is the only time we got, or for me, we were able to like do a transaction in a parking lot.
Yeah.
But usually it's fun because you just run into Kieran Games' booth and he'd have all these little bins out with the hero clicks and just sit there and sort through them and pick the ones you want.
Yeah.
I thought I could do a full screen here and it's not letting me. So
instead it's doing a half screen.
It is. All right, let's go ahead and just share that then. There we go. So yeah, it's Whimsicon, Victorian Fairy Carnival.
Yeah, which for a minute there I was like, gosh, that's revealing. It took me a second to realize she's just wearing a skin colored.
Right. Those fairies are like that.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to zoom in here. Woo! I wanted to see what's going on. It's not a clock. It's a sewing machine. A long laser gun, I don't know, or one of those pocket fishermen, and then the thimble from Monopoly, and then one of those bicycles with the big wheel, and I think it begins with the letter P, but I can't remember the name of it now, and I'm probably entirely wrong. That looks like somebody's shoe sliding down a hill. The top hat from Monopoly. And
there's a lot of Monopoly going on there.
There is some kind of like TJ. It's like a T and a J type thing, and then the torso of some poor person who lost all the other body parts.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Yeah,
man, didn't realize that would be a thing that would be happening.
Oh, but yeah, they have as you can see, costume classes and contests, art show and costume gallery, steampunk and fantasy vendors. So do they vend fantasy?
Yes.
Or the
sell
vendors...
you a fantasy and it's beautiful and you either like it or you don't. But
and tea-doling, we did tea-doling on one episode.
Yes, it was pretty fun. I liked our tea-doling.
Yeah. I think we did it wrong.
We totally did it wrong, but that's part of the charm.
Board games and auto billiards, which means, it just plays without your input. Burlesque and sideshow. What's sideshow? Sideshow Bob?
Sideshow Bob.
Night Carnival After Party. And they have special musicians, Dust Bowl Fairies, costumer Fog Couture, artist Elizabeth Leggett. And Leggett or not, she'll be there. Author Vanessa Robertson. So cool. I'm pretty sure we're invited. Well, we were. We might not be invited now.
I was going to say after that little
we're not invited anymore. Invitation might be rescinded.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great job there, Troy.
Whoopsie. Yeah. But yeah, let's Kieran Games. I
keep doing this like apologizing thing when I talk to these people. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I mean, we are kind of a weird group, and everybody's like, oh no, we've watched your show. Like, bye. It's like, oh,
good for them. Good for them.
So like, I'm like, I always feel like I should explain that we're kind of weird and kind of fluffy and strange, but they're all like, oh no, we've seen your show.
Well, that's good. Oh, okay. That's a good place to be at if you want to know what we're doing.
Right. But more, I guess more importantly is, if you are of the, you don't want people to come into our show and then go, why did we let them have any control over this?
But yeah, I've still got ships I haven't painted from Kieran
Yep.
Games, because I wanted to paint them up to be sort of Borg versions of the ship, because they're
Yep.
the I've got the Reliant, which is one of my favorite ship designs, and they come primed but not painted, and they're the right size, and they're specifically made, I think, for attack wing.
Yeah.
So I just got that project that I haven't gotten to, and then I was disappointed that for the Orville release of HeroClix, they weren't spaceships; they were just the figures
Right.
of the crew.
Although I can get an Orville, but only through Eagle Moss. Eagle Moss now has Orvilles.
They are considerably more expensive than a
Hi, Jerry.
custom ship. I'm
Here it is good.
I'm clearly drunk because I'm out of focus.
Right? That's
There
the
we
last
go.
time you know that you're drunk,
Yeah, because everything gets blurry.
right?
All right. So, what else do we want to say about Kieran Games?
So Kieran Games is, I mean, you know, other than Chris is cool, I like Chris. So there's that. But we got Jerry with us today. So that's a plus. Always a plus when Jerry's here. It's a party because Jerry's here.
I just found out that 2 family members that I didn't think were vaccinated are vaccinated, so I have to type a big giant yay into the message because that makes me very happy. Because
Yeah, actually.
I was going to have to say we can't hang out if you're not vaccinated, so because I'm a snob like that.
You are a snob.
I know. Do you know if Kieran Games is going to be at Whimsicon?
I do not know. I actually don't. I mean, I keep seeing Chris will join our show from time to time and he'll comment.
Yeah.
But he usually just sits there and quietly exists.
Judges us.
Quietly and silently judges us on our ability to make commercials about his spot.
Mhm.
So, but you know, it's a thing. He's a local vendor, and I really like him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I recently started getting the Transformers minis that he had.
Oh, which ones do you have?
I have Optimus Prime, who's only primed.
Mhm.
So Optimus primed Prime. Then I have Bumblebee,
I was going to
and
say
now I have RC.
because Bumblebee's one of your favorites. I was going to say
Yep.
if you didn't have him yet, that needs to be at the top of your list.
Yeah, because Bumblebee, yeah, definitely. I actually, so our engineer Kevin is starting to think about getting a 3D printer
Mhm.
that offsets my 3D printer because he's going to get the big one where it has the
More of a cosplay
Cool.
printer.
See, he tuned in. I tell you
Yay!
now, he's not quietly judging us; he's loudly judging us. So there you go. But yeah, so
we could
I got
ask
the
him.
art. The last time that I saw Kieran Games, I got Bumblebee and Optimus.
They have the Megatron and Starscream are the other 2 I know of.
Yeah.
That are out there, and I'd heard rumors of another set being released. And I've also heard rumors, and I hope this is not just a rumor, but going to be true, that same line has gotten the licensing for G.I. Joe and will be releasing G.I. Joe sized miniatures primed, in which case I'm going to want an entire set of those and probably some extra of the generic Cobra soldier dudes. So,
Fair.
because to me, G.I. Joe was what I watched, and you watched Transformers. So,
It makes sense. So,
and I had heard rumor too that I really doubt they're going to do this now, but the live action G.I. Joe movie and the live action Transformer movies, they were trying to figure out a way to have a crossover movie with them. So, which I guess they would have the G.I. Joe vehicles actually transform into robots, possibly.
yeah, I don't know how that would work. I
know they did crossover comic books because they were both
Yeah,
the
they
same
were.
toy company.
They were both Hasbro,
Yeah.
and so that made some sense.
You know who else was Hasbro? Was HeroScape, one of my favorite games. They should have gotten the G.I. Joe and Transformer license and had them in the HeroScape universe.
You know, that's another thing that kind of baffles me is when they have the license, they have the authority, and then they don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird because that's not the first time
Like
that something
Robotech,
like that has occurred.
like how Robotech and stuff went down and
Well,
licensing. got
Robotech
weird.
was a different story. So, we have updates on that because we've talked about the license between Harmony Gold and Big West and all of that. They apparently buried the hatchet.
Okay, well, I would have thought because Japanime Games has like quite a few Robotech games popping out.
And Japanime Games had the license off of Harmony Gold.
Okay.
So, because of the literally decades old war between Harmony Gold and Big West, the universes split. So you have to kind of imagine that Robotech is a different universe than Macross. So it'd be kind of like if you were to look at the Star Trek universes and say the J.J. Abrams movies were nothing at all like the canonical line of Star Trek, and
Right,
in
or
the
the
first
X-Men movies and the Marvel
Right.
Cinematic Universe movies.
in the first Star Trek movie, the entire crew gets killed, and the second movie is about an entirely different crew whose entire mission is to destroy all of the Klingons from the Klingon homeworld out. And the third movie then was discovering the Xernoblops in the center of the galaxy, and have what I mean. Like, it's a completely radically different storyline that had nothing to do. If you imagine that's exactly what happened. Macross has been going on since the 80s with these newer shows. There's Macross 7, then there was Macross Plus, then there was Delta, and all of these other shows which are just continuing on with where Macross left off.
And Macross Vista.
Yep, and Vista, which was a short-lived one and kept rebooting all the time. So, but the Macross universe is completely different. It's radically different than the Robotech universe. Whatever was the storyline that happened in Robotech, nothing to do with the Macross universe. So, for years, there were those of us that watched both and were totally happy with it. But Harmony Gold blocked Big West from ever selling Macross merchandise in America because of their copyright on the original Macross. So they managed to lock it down, and that did not go well with Big West, obviously. But they managed to lock down all of Macross for this entire time. Literally, the only copies of Macross 7 that I have ever seen were fan subs done in the 90s. And there are no other copies. Now, Pioneer got the rights to do Laserdisc versions of Macross Plus back in the 90s. But that was back when it was sort of the wild, wild west of anime, and things were still kind of loose, and nobody really quite knew what was going on, and things like that. So anyway, what happened, this is big news, is about early July, I think it was, may have been mid-June, I can't remember. They struck a deal, and Harmony Gold and Big West struck a deal where Robotech is Robotech, Macross is Macross, and they can sell stuff in Japan under the Robotech license, and they can sell stuff here under the Macross license. So now we will shortly see whether Big West takes that step, and I might actually finally get my complete DVD set of Macross 7.
Finally.
After all of this work.
Mm-hmm.
Or Delta, or any of the other Macrosses that have been out there since then. Frontier. Frontier was what the Macross going on when I was in Japan. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sort of partial to Frontier because I got up at 7 a.m. and flipped on the TV and actually watched it live on Japanese television.
It's like reliving your childhood, have a bowl of cereal.
Right. I had like my cereal there. I'm eating cereal and watching Macross on TV, and I'm like, this is just so cool.
You only had to go all the way to Japan to do it.
Right. But I got to watch it firsthand, like everybody else was seeing it. I was seeing it. We were all seeing it at the same time. It was just so amazing. So, not like all anime that mostly we have to deal with, which is seeing it after it has already been out for 2, 3 years, 4 years in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the way I watched Delta, but that's okay.
So you got the miniature battle game of Macross, which they actually called it Robotech, though, didn't they?
So all the mini battle stuff, that's all Harmony Gold. So that's all under Robotech's license.
You haven't gotten that to the table yet, have you? Because I saw you painted some. They look really great.
Yeah, I've got these guys, and I've been painting them for a while now. I just I can't see past my own light. My light is so bright. I gotta wear shades. Gotta wear shades. Hey, no, it's not these guys. It's because I carry all of these things up here naturally.
Is Palladium Books Robotech RPG Tactics board game? That's what it was called.
Right. So Palladium is another problem child.
Mm-hmm.
Because Palladium is Palladium bought the rights to make an RPG, a tabletop role-playing game in 1980. I want to say 85 or 86. So right at the same time as Harmony Gold got involved and all of this stuff. So they bought the rights off of Harmony Gold to do a role-playing game in the 80s when everybody was like, role-playing games? We don't even know what those are. Sure, you can have the rights. What could possibly go wrong?
Hey, you nailed it. November 1986. Good job.
Yeah. So 86. Yep.
That's what you said, I think.
I said 85, but that's right.
Oh, I heard 86, so what I heard was right.
That's what I said then.
Yes, that's what you said.
So, but they bought the rights to the role-playing game, which I played. That was actually the first role-playing game I played after Star Frontier. So we played
Star Frontier. They got 8 source books, 4 adventure books, and then Robotech 2, the RPG, the Sentinels, and then Robotech Expeditionary Force Field Guide. They produced quite a bit, and it was from 86 totally to 89. Yeah.
And when they didn't go under. It got caught up in the crap. Mm-hmm. All of this stuff that's going on with everything. And Kevin Symbiota, who's the guy who's in charge, I don't know. Sometimes his big business acumen is just not good. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but he made some poor choices. So they had been sort of in this null existence where they were still alive, but they only kept like 5 staff members because they were making just that much money off of the royalties of all the books after 89. And then relatively recently, they started a Kickstarter to bring back Robotech in a lot of ways. And that's where the RPG Tactics comes from, is they decided to make it a tabletop role-playing. Interestingly enough, well, first of all, that was like the worst Kickstarter ever.
Yeah, it says 2013 to 2018, so it took them 5 years.
It took them a long time to finally get those things into our hands, and when they did, they met only half of their goals at best. And I keep buying boxes of the minis because they keep showing up at like Black and Red because people just unload them. They're too difficult to build. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to spend all the hours building them like I do. I actually enjoy that part. So I'm happy as a clam putting together all the little minis. That doesn't bother me at all. But there are a lot of people who really don't like that. And so they've been getting angry about it. And so finally they had to close the doors. And I think that was the nail in the coffin of Palladium. I think Palladium's dead. I don't think they know it yet, but I think they're dead. So they did, as a consolation, they sent me the miniature version of the source book. Actually, I'll go get it because it's kind of cool. I liked it.
I was going to say, it looks like in 2019, a whole new company called Strange Machine Games released an RPG.
Yes, that's a different story.
Did you get that one?
I have pieces of that. Yes.
Did it explode?
It didn't explode, but
And backtracking here, it looks like the second edition of the Palladium, they released, they reacquired the Robotech license in 207 to coincide with the DVD release, and they released another RPG called Shadow Chronicles role playing, Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles role playing game, and that was in 2007.
that was like perfect timing. Look at that.
All right. Yep, that puppy came out 2007, and the other one that you said you have pieces of just came out 2018.
Yes.
Or 2019.
The other guy, that's by a fellow in China, in Hong Kong, and he is a Macross fan. Yeah, actually, hi Joan, welcome to the show. And Chris is right. Palladium was best known for their Rifts book, but their system, their Palladium system, is also well known for being a pain in the ass. And I mean, it's just complicated and difficult, and getting their Valkyries to all of the numbers and letters, and it's known for being complicated. So that's a thing. So it's one of those kind of interesting stories. Now, the fellow, his name is Kevin. I want to say Kevin Long. I can't remember. He's working now separately on a new tabletop version, and his minis are fantastic. They are really cool, and he started out also in the Macross era, but they're going to move on ahead to the next generation era, which is something that nobody else has managed to pull out. We keep going over and over and over on Macross, and nobody moves on to next generation, which is called Most Piata in Japan. And the Most Piata is what I just actually showed you. That's hang on, I'll show you the Legios Most Piata. That's this guy. It'll focus in a second. There we go. That's this guy.
All those robots look the same to me.
I know, but they don't look the same to me.
I know.
I've always loved the Most Piata as far as the spacecraft or the aircraft version of it. I like it a whole lot better than I like the VF1. As
the kids say, she's thick. That was a big, thick jet fighter.
Yeah. That's. I don't know why I don't have any other pictures of the smaller versions of that.
Yeah, I'm on the website for Strange Machine Games, and their board game lists are. I believe you played this with our engineer Kevin. Brace for Impact.
Yes.
Robotech Brace for Impact. Robotech Attack on the SDF-1. Robotech Cyclone Run. Robotech Ace Pilot. And so, yeah, they've got quite a few board games. I thought those were Japanime games for some reason.
Well, they're being distributed by Japanime Games.
Oh, okay. That would explain that. I didn't realize that they were a different game company working through Japanime Games.
Yeah, because they don't sell direct here because they're a little company out in the middle of
China.
Well, they're in Hong Kong.
I think Hong Kong went back to
where you are in your politics is either China or not China.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I could find his miniatures, but I'm not seeing any, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So another Palladium game that very few people know about that we played years ago, which I recently just found my role-playing notes for, which I thought was funny, was Palladium's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
Yes.
But years ago, we were doing the once a week playing a game of the games that we used to play years and years before that because we still had them. So you ran Star Frontiers by TSR, and then I ran a couple of games of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And we even used the whole random animal selection chart on there for you guys. That was fun.
Those are the best.
And Kevin ran, what was it, D&D 1. So we got to see how broken that was.
Right. That was, that's pretty funny. So, okay, let's see if we can find.
You looking for a picture of the better
I'm looking for
version of that?
the miniatures game. Yeah.
So, so for those of you who just showed up, today's topic is basically Stone Soup. It all started off down the rabbit hole from a bot that popped up here earlier on Twitch, telling us that if we want to be famous, we can buy followers and prime viewers. And so we started talking about how we aren't going to do that. And it's just sort of, we've ended up now in Robotech, which, and Macross, which we should know is going to happen eventually if you talk to Guy long enough.
Right. Well, it's a thing. And we had to update it because the whole situation with Big West and Harmony Gold is sort of a thing.
Yeah, a season or two ago, we actually went into detail on that when they were having their big mess.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Is like we said that before, so I'm looking to see if I know I am. There once was a time where I could find this stuff. So there's that. Why is it that I can't find? Did the page go away?
I'm sure
there we go.
It went away forever. Did you find it?
Yeah, I was just wondering if because Kids Logic is the name of the.
While you look for that, I'll show off these dice that I'm sure you're going to want to get. Robotech Macross dice.
Damn it!
You got little robots next to the numbers.
They're kind of cute.
They're fun looking. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that is kind of cute.
No miniatures though.
No.
But you said that someone has some cool looking miniatures coming out.
Yeah. I guess it's taking a while for, I don't know what happened, but.
So the Robotech Palladium Tabletop Battles game, we were talking about maybe in 2022 at NDK having a setup where people can come and play using the miniatures and have a little cityscape. And we'll probably have to mess with the rules to make them more approachable by people. And
I don't know.
I haven't looked at the rules yet, so I don't know how bad they are.
Because here's what the miniatures game looks like, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, they've got little.
Oh, so this is not the miniatures that you got. This is
these are different. They're the same scale, so they work, but they put in a monster, which is great because I love the monster, and we've got like this. They've got male power armor over here, and they've got female power armor. The Quadlin Rao.
Put them together, you get little baby powered armors.
No, you don't put them together because they just fight.
Oh,
such is the nature of things. So let's plug.
What's the company or the name of the game?
Kids Logic, and this is their version of the Tactical Robotech game. So, and I had they've got their minis. Their minis are really dynamic, and they look great. And these are people who are painting the minis. That's a armored Batroid, a VF1D. This is somebody doing that too. And, and so it's like their minis are much. I don't know if they're actually making the booster, but can't tell whether that's somebody who printed the booster or whether that's actually is
that the one you're looking at right now?
Yeah.
That's the booster.
That's a booster.
It's $26.
So they make them now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it looks like they're going the Games Workshop way where they're doing each individual miniature. I was looking to see if they had a starter set that came with more than that. So far, everything looks like it's all just individual. Yeah,
it is. But they've been very adaptive to how to, they're very communicative. They talk to the people in their their threads and things like that to kind of get opinions, and they were kind of doing not I wouldn't say that they were doing raffles and things like that, but they were trying to get kind of what should we do next, sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
it looks like they just do the miniatures. I don't see a rule book.
Yeah, there's no game yet. And many people are doing either they're using the tactics rules for it, or they'll use BattleTech rules for it.
Mobile Frame Zero.
Yeah, Mobile Frame Zero rules work too. But I mean, really, the whole thing here. I'm going back in time. Oh yeah, that's that booster. Look at that booster.
These seem larger than the other ones.
They're not much.
Okay.
So there's an S with all the missile pods open. This person did a pretty good job on that.
285.
So BF1S.
Yeah, because it looks like it's the miniatures for the Palladium Games 1-300, and there's our 1-285.
Yeah, so close enough
that people might not notice.
Yeah, people like we might notice it. I can't believe they did super armor. Look at that. With fast attacks.
They definitely went far beyond what Palladium did with their miniatures.
Yeah. I mean, here's the Excaliburs. Those are nice. Yeah, so their work is spectacular.
Yes, Joan. Nice missile pods.
Nice missile pods.
That's got to become
Have you met Robotech?
That's got to become the new she said. Instead of saying she said, you got to say nice missile pods.
What was it? Said the actress to the bishop.
Nice missile pods.
Nice missile pods. But yeah, the Spartan. The Spartan's always been my favorite because of its just excessive number of missiles. It's ridiculous. But, kind of going back through, here's male power armor.
So why do they have different gender power armor for Robotech?
The story of Macross is that the Zentradi were cloned. They're clones. And they're the warrior race of another alien race that are used to fight. And so they cloned the men and then they cloned the women separately. And the two over the millennia, those two became their own cultures separate of warrior fighters. So when that was part of the whole thing was that they were in the middle of a fight between the two of them. The men and women were fighting. And one of the ships ended up on Earth. And then we got the technology. But there's a Quadlin Rao. That's female power armor.
I can tell by the missile pods.
Yes. That's how you know it's a girl. It's the missile pods. So he did a really nice job on this Quadlin Rao, though. So the purple guys here are the males, and these green ones are female. So, and it's just part of the story. And then I think these are the modified cards that would have been cards for Robotech Tactics, and somebody else is going. I mean, not the company. This is obviously one of the people in this thread on Facebook, and they're just making modified versions of the cards so that you can play these guys in the game. Because of course, this looks like just so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Two TBPs and one OBP.
You know me.
Male.
And if anyone's interested, it looks like on Miniature Market, because of it being cleared out, instead of it being $100 for the box, it's $50 for the starter box. But I would recommend not getting it unless if you are skilled at putting together little tiny plastic figures.
Yeah.
Because they're even more complex than Games Workshop figures, a little bit more fragile.
And that's not the way it is with the Kids Logic ones, by the way.
Yeah, those look really good quality.
These are only 3 pieces, 4 pieces. So they only need to be, glued together for 3 or 4 pieces. I'm trying to see if I can't find. And they've got a lot of people who have been doing some work here.
It looks like it says it's resin too, which the ones in the Palladium game, I believe, is just plastic.
Well, that's a thing. That's Dana Sterling. That's a nice thing to see. This is from the second generation of Robotech. Kids Logic is doing a 1/6 Dana Sterling statue. It's not a bad statue either. Oh, yeah. Maybe I will get Veritech hover tanks.
Nice
Finally.
missile pods.
Nice missile pods. Yes. So I'm trying to see if I can't find one that's disassembled so you can see. Here we go. So this one's not that complicated.
No disassemble.
Right?
Yeah. That's. Do you have an unbuilt Palladium one you can grab and show? Or I guess I could grab a screenshot actually and show it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have it. Easier. They're all downstairs. I'd be going away for quite a while.
Well, good. Why don't you go?
Why don't you leave? And, yes. And then a monster. I'm gonna have to buy a monster. Monsters are the best things in Macross. Mm-hmm. They're just insane. So they're one of the best things. Oh, wow. That's Legos. Check that out.
Fun.
It's kind of wild. Anyway.
Oh, can you find one?
Speaking of nice missile pods, there you go, Joan. That's a Spartan with all of the missile pods, all the missiles in there being painted as high explosive.
So, battle pod, tactics officer, battle pod. These are all battle pods.
Wow. I'm not going to lie. That kind of looks nifty.
Can you grab one of their
nice missile pods?
Grab one of their tactical battle pods, and we can show them side by side. Well, not quite side by side, but
TVPs. Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can find a TVP. Oh, I see Lego Cyclones.
So this is the layout for a sprue, as they call it. All the pieces of just a single. I don't know. Is that a single battle pod or three?
That's three battle
pods.
Yeah,
three battle pods. Yeah, because there's the legs. So, but this is what you would have to put together if you bought the Palladium starter box versus what Guy is looking up here.
Finding it. I can see the battle pods. Here are the battle pods, but there's only three pieces.
Yeah.
So it's not that complicated. So you can bring up this one. It's only this leg, and the body core. Yeah,
so these, although more expensive, look like they're better quality and easier to put together.
Yep. I absolutely agree. Wow, look at that Quinlan Rao. That would be Miria Sterling in her original colors. Versus the monster. I love that monster. Quinlan Rao are not small to begin with. Oh, yeah, here they've got all the I can't believe they did this. I'm going to have to buy one. How much did you say these were?
Those were like 26, I think. Let me find it again.
I'm in. I should buy one. Because I want one for the atmospheric booster. That's insane. That's so cool. I didn't know they made that.
Yeah. Robotech Macross Veritech VF-1 Valkyrie atmospheric booster, $26. Looks like it comes with the little car or the little transport.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, that's so what I would
for this guy. Oh, hey, can you pull up a Raider 10
for Palladium?
The Raider X. So, Joan, I'm on Facebook under the group, which is known as Robotech Macross - the Miniatures game. But there we go. That's the super. That's the super that we were looking, or the armored. I mean, the armored Valk. And even this, he was apologetic about all the pieces that was coming in. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. So Joan, if we ever get this game in the dojo, you and I can play this game.
Joan won't be making it to the dojo. She's got quite a drive to get there.
I know, but I'm just saying. If she ever makes it to the dojo,
Ever make it to the dojo, make sure you call first so that we know that guy has all the miniatures put together.
right?
I'm not finding a radar for these for the Robotech Palladium thing.
Radar, like
Oh.
a radar. So like the radar sweep, radar X. And I'll find that radar X that I found before. There we go.
There's a Guardian.
Should look like this guy with the 2 guns on either instead of arms. If you can find it, we can compare.
Palladium's not wanting to be helpful.
I can't help you. You're not going to spell it right.
Let me see if their Kickstarter's still up. They might have pictures in there.
That might be a thing. Be humored by the fact that their Kickstarter is still running. I don't know if anybody is, not yelling at them on there.
Doesn't mean they have to read it.
True.
All right, they have the pictures of them, but not the pictures of what they're going to look like on the sprues.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that.
Looks like they're calling them Destroids.
They're all called Destroids.
Okay.
Those are the non-transformable mecha. So the ones that don't transform are called Destroids. The ones that do transform are called Valkyries. Or Veritex, sorry. They're called Valkyries in Macross. There's a Guardian. Or a Gladiator. The only thing, though, that is a plus from the Palladium version is that the Gladiator in the Palladium version has the alternate arms that sometimes were used. So has the huge battle axe arm and things like that. So there were some different variations you could build onto the Gladiator.
It's weird. The picture's not there when I go to it. It's only there on the
Preview.
The preview. So, well, it's good enough. Boink.
Yeah, there you go. That's a Raider.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, that's a Raider X. You can see already how complicated that is, and the ability to clip off those guns trying to snip.
Mm-hmm.
That happens all the time.
Yeah, definitely not for a beginner.
No, it is not a beginner's thing. But painting minis is definitely a lot of fun, and we have to figure out how to make it so that I can paint minis while I'm over at your house. I'm noticing
we need
your new super awesome living room is great, but I don't have the space to put my minis down.
Yeah, we need to get some cool dinner trays thingies.
Yep. So that's cool. All right.
And to wrap up where we started. No, we got 10 more minutes. I don't need to wrap up yet.
No, we don't need to
when we get there.
Okay. We can wrap.
That's you're doing the cultural appropriation thing.
I don't even think that that culture would accept me with that particular version of the rap. I think they just reject me. We're right there. So no appropriation. They won't. At least that's a plus. So there's that.
I see.
Anyway, you were going to say something, and I don't know what you were going to say. You were like, we don't have to leave. We still have 10 minutes.
So we can follow up with what we know about the Outlook Hotel, because Joan just said in the message board that sometimes she wished she lived there. Have you been to the Outlook, which they actually is called the Stanley Hotel?
Oh,
It was used as the model for the Outlook Hotel and Stephen King's The Shining.
Oh, gotcha.
I forgot for a second. Horror is not your thing.
Right? So I noticed the Stanley, of
Yes,
course.
you know it as the Stanley because you do know Colorado culture and
Yes.
history. So
I don't watch horror flicks. So you're like, Outlook Hotel. I'm like, Microsoft bought a hotel and named it after their email client. Gotcha.
And it crashed just as bad. So
I'm actually running Outlook right now, if that counts.
Yeah, Chelsea would be the one to really know this because I'm sure she's gone to the ghost hunts there because I believe on Halloween.
I was going to say there are some serious ghost hunts at the Stanley.
Mhm.
Like they work really freaking hard on those. But I've never been. I mean, I don't know.
I've seen it from afar. I think they were like charging to go in, and so
yeah,
it was. And
that's generally my problem is that they charge. So it's like, well,
and there's no guarantee anyone's going to chase you around with an axe. So I feel like I would have been ripped off if that didn't.
You would have just wandered around and gone, oh, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is another one of those would have been better if my mom was still around.
Your mom.
Yeah.
Because she would know all about it.
She knows all about it, or she knew all about it. And it would have definitely been her bag, even for the movie, because she would have known all the movie history too. So
they remade it for TV, and one of the people I did improv with was actually an extra at a scene in the movie, and it was like the graduation scene, and you have to know who she is to be able to recognize her because it's shot from the back.
Right.
So, but it's cool that someone I know got to go do that.
That is cool, but it's kind of still one of those. Oh, okay.
But she got paid for it. And that's all that matters when it comes to extra work.
I worked at the Rockies last weekend, and I made $27.
Was that all tips, or did they actually pay you guys?
It was all
to show
tips.
up? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think they would pay to have people be there.
Nah, I got a T-shirt, which was cool.
I
actually have zero problem with this. You know what really was cool about it was all the kids who were just so excited to get a picture of Grogu.
Mm-hmm.
That was their thing. They were really into.
Did they have Vader throw out the first pitch?
I don't know.
Okay, you weren't there.
I was. Well, my back was to the field, so I couldn't see the field unless I turned around.
I know sometimes they will have someone from the 501st come out, and
the 501st were most definitely there. I just don't know if anybody was actually doing the pitch. There was a Vader. I saw him suiting up in the prep room, so they did have Vader there. And maybe he did because there were two attendants that were working with him that, looked like this was a bigger deal than just the other guys from the 501st, because we had a bunch of Mandalorians. We had quite a few stormtroopers, and I wouldn't let the stormtrooper. Oh, actually, that's not true. If it were me, I would have had a stormtrooper out there throwing the first pitch,
and he would throw it to third base.
Throw it over to third base. You got it. That would exactly be what I would do. Because legit, that's what we do. I would so do that.
They should get like 3 or 4 stormtroopers out there trying to throw the ball to each other.
Right. See, this is why you don't leave me in charge of this stuff.
No. Yeah. The 501st really cool. They do a lot of charity stuff.
I love the 501st. And it was cool to have the 501st there. Mm-hmm. And they were good folks, and they're always good folks, and but it was funny because of course we get there and it's a bunch of us who are, we're geeks. And so we're walking through the ball field, and, we're going through the concourses and things like that. And there are all of these sports fans. And I'm like, I'm such a fish out of water because Mom got into baseball late. She didn't get into baseball until the Rockies came in, and the Rockies came in 92. So by then I had already graduated high school, and I wasn't, I was staying with her, but I was working at that time, so I didn't actually, it wasn't like my childhood where I was I was saturated with the Broncos.
Mhm.
So the Rockies were a late addition. So I didn't actually learn a lot about baseball. I learned a little. So I'm feeling very fish out of water here. And we're walking around. Then we get into this room, and it's full of stormtroopers, and it's full of Mandalorians, and we've got like 12 Rays, and a couple of Princess Leias, and I mean, it was just. Then I'm like, now I'm with my peeps.
Mhm. There's
Now I'm comfortable.
Our 501st out here is called Mountain Garrison,
Mhm.
of course, and there's also another group called Mountain Base, and they are with Rebel. Rebel
Scum.
Legion. Rebel Legion.
Oh, they're with Rebel
and,
Scum.
Rebel Legion. And so we have actually two different groups out here that do Star Wars cosplay stuff. And I think Rebel Legion
is where Alley Cat is.
Alley Cat's at, yeah. Because she does some awesome cosplay. She's working on her Mando costume, which is what was that character's name?
She's not working. It's Bo-Katan.
Thank you, Bo-Katan's costume.
She's working on Bo-Katan.
Looks amazing. It's not even painted yet.
Yeah, I mean, she's not even done yet, and it looks just kick butt. She's doing an incredible job. So but the cosplayers, they do their thing, and they are good at what they do. Boy, are they good at what they do.
And now that this has brought us back to Star Wars, I can answer the question that we asked at the beginning, and the answer is the Enterprise.
Yeah, no matter what, in the end, there was actually a line in an episode of Star Trek called The Outrageous Okana, and it's the second season episode, where the ship comes up to them, and Data says, they are targeting us with lasers. And Riker turns to Picard and goes, lasers? Those won't even get through our navigational shields. So it's like, so the truth is, it doesn't matter. Any kind of lasers have already just been written as way too weak. Yeah. So even though a Star Destroyer would have a zillion turbo lasers going, the Enterprise wouldn't even really need to raise shields to defend against it. So the Enterprise could just sit there with its navigational deflectors up.
Here's a question, though. If it went into warp and aimed itself at the Enterprise, would the Enterprise survive?
So that as proven by the second, or by episode 8, that proves that the streak through to light speed is destructive.
Right.
So it would do damage, I would presume.
So I think I might take back my answer and say it's a draw if they kamikaze
if they're willing to sacrifice themselves. Yeah.
Right. So
if they're willing to sacrifice
themselves. I only just thought of that too, because I was totally on board until I'm like, wait a minute. They could do that. It's an expensive way to win, but I guess if surrender's not an option, then I suppose you would do that. But it's the Federation. Surrender is always an option.
Right. The Federation will always accept your surrender. It's not a problem at all.
And that concludes this episode.
Right. And on that note, we have now come to another really bizarre show, which I don't know. I kind of like our Stone Soup shows. They're not bad. So once again, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, which real quickly, I'll put that up here again because it's fun. Our sponsors, once again, are Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, Shiny Garden, and Your Mom. Thank you again for joining us.
I'd like to thank Waterpool, and thank you all for your input. That makes it so much more enjoyable and fun. And now we have missile pods. Nice missile pods.
That's going to be the saying. Nice missile pods.
Yep.
Okay, we'll see you. That's all the time we've got for today. I've been Guy.
I've been Troy.
And this is Geek Tank.